Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 46 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me Mike Horner. How are you?
I'm doing well, Cameron. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great.
Now, for any of you guys who don't know, Mike is a puppeteer for What If Puppets, formerly Messner Puppets Company.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. I've been with this company for over 18 years. And the company was started by a puppeteer named Paul Mesner. And that's why it was called Paul Mesner Puppets and then Mesner Puppet Theater. And Paul retired in about 2017, and we changed the name to What If Puppets. So that's what we're called now.
Nice. Let's begin our first question.
Great.
So, how did you get interested in puppetry?
Well, for one thing, I was born in 1976. So, right when the Muppet Show started, and Sesame Street was also very popular. So, as a very young child, the big thing on TV were the Muppets. So, of course, I was really into the Muppets on TV. But then also, when I was about 3 years old, a puppet ministry group came to my family's church and they put on puppet shows. And my parents really got interested in that. And so those puppeteers taught my parents how to do puppet ministry puppets. And my parents built the puppets and made the stage and sets and everything. And they and two other couples from our church would tour around doing puppet shows at other churches. It was just a hobby. They just did it for fun. But as a kid, I we had puppets in the house, and our family would go on tour doing puppet shows. So very early on, I knew that that's how you did puppet shows was to load up everything in the car, go to some place, set it up, and do the show, um, and then take it down and go back home. So yeah, so from a very young age, between the Muppets and my family doing puppets for fun, um, that's how I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life, to be a puppeteer.
Nice. So, what was your first puppetry gig?
Oh, my first puppetry gig. Well, I don't know if I would count it as a gig, but like I said, when my family and my parents and the other two couples would go out and do puppet shows, they take all of us kids with them, and they would often do a little song before they did their main puppet show that where they let all of us kids come and do a puppet as part of that little song. So I guess you could call that the first gig, doing that in front of an audience. But as far as being doing shows by myself, I don't know. Maybe it was probably at again in church when I maybe when I was in middle school or something, seventh or eighth grade, when I did something with puppets at our church all by myself. So that would probably be more the first time I did a puppet show that was on my own.
All right.
And then so yeah, for a long time I kind of just did puppet shows on the side just for fun. I had like a regular day job, um, and then yeah, like I said, 18 years ago, I got offered a full time position with Paul Messner Puppets back then, and so it's yeah, this has been my full time job ever since.
Nice. And where are you calling from?
We are in Kansas City, Missouri, in the United States, right in the middle of the country.
That's where the animation studio Bazillion Pictures is located to.
Oh, I'm not familiar with them. I do know another animation company here called uh, Other Brother Studios, and they do kind of stop motion animation. But I'll have to check out you said it's called
Pictures.
Bazillion Pictures. Okay. I'll have to look them up.
They have made Fargoberry Farm.
Oh, okay. Well, Kansas City has a long history with animation because Walt Disney got his start here before he moved to California, and started, of course, the big Disney company. But when he was probably in his early 20s, he had his first animation studio right here in Kansas City.
What's it called?
Well, it was called Laugh-O-Gram Studios back then, because their little cartoons, animated cartoons. Walt and his associates made were called Laugh-O-Grams. Um, and it didn't last very long. They didn't make very much money. Uh, that's why they moved to California in 1923. Well, they may have moved before that, but 1923 is when he and his brother founded the company that became the Disney company that we know now. But actually, yeah, Walt's original studio, or the building where his animation studio was just around the corner where our puppet theater used to be. We're not in that building anymore, but I always thought it was so cool to drive by the building where Walt Disney used to uh, started off his animation career right here in Kansas City.
Nice. What else do you have here? Could you show me some of the puppets?
Absolutely, I've yeah. I'll start with we use different types of puppets. We do mostly live shows, where we go into schools and libraries and museums and theaters. People hire us to go do puppet shows. Sometimes we do video projects, and we also build puppets for other people. But I'll show you a few of the puppets I like. Here's a dinosaur. This is a rod puppet. This is from a show we used to do called the Dinosaur Show. Um, and it's a show that our founder Paul Mesner first did a long time ago in the 80s, I think. But then probably around 2018, we rebuilt the puppets. Uh, Zach Garner is a puppeteer who works with us. He designed, did the drawings for the characters, and then I built them with some other people. And so this is a little dinosaur. He's got a little trigger here for the mouth. Hello there. Yep, I'm a dinosaur, and I'm a dinosaur puppet actually, and I got rods on my arms, so I can move my arms like that. Yeah, and then got the trigger for the mouth. See, I pull the trigger with my thumb, and that pulls a string. And you can see the string. You can kind of see it right there. Yep. And then I got a spring. Oh, there's the spring that keeps my mouth shut. I always kind of like this little goofy guy. He would do a thing in the show. He would have a hard time scratching his head. Ooh. So we would say the dinosaur evolved so he could scratch his head by doing this. Foot's in his way there. There we go. Oh. So that's a rod puppet. We used to use lots of rod puppets like this. And the rods are really long because it was a stage show. So they were always over our heads pretty high. Yep. I always liked that guy. We don't really use him anymore, but I got him out. I thought, oh, he's still a good puppet. I should find something to do with him. So there's that guy. Um, a video project we got to do probably in about 2015 or 16, maybe. It was a video for kids that would go out into schools to teach kids about how to stay away from poison in their house. It was for the Poison Control Center of Kansas. And so we came up with an idea where there was a cat and a dog in a house, and they would go around the house and figure out what's poison and what's not, and what to stay away from. And that was one of the favorite projects that Paul Mesner and I did. And so I built the two puppets. This is my favorite puppet, pretty much of all time that I've ever made. He's a dog, and I played him in the video. His name's Hunter. Hi there, Cameron. I'm Hunter. I'm a dog. You can see that, yeah. And I was always really good at finding poison. I could sniff it out and tell people, stay away from it. That's poison. Mm-hmm. And he's a live hand puppet. So of course, I've got my hand in the mouth to work the mouth like that. What? Your hand's inside my mouth? That's unsanitary, even for a dog. But then I put my other hand into that hand so I could operate that. And then the other hand, um, kind of floppy right now. There was one scene in the video where we had someone else do that hand, but otherwise, I think I would stuff it a little bit and pin it to his body. Um, uh, anyway, but yeah, I really like Hunter. Um, One of my favorite puppets. Hold on, I got an itch. Oh, fleas. I need to have a new flea bath, all right? All right, we'll get you a flea bath. Good. That's Hunter. Any questions about me?
So, what's it like being poisoned?
What? No, no, I've never been poisoned. I don't think so. No, no. I've never actually been poisoned. I stay away from it because I'm a dog. I know how to stay away from it. I don't think it would be a good thing to be poisoned. No. Ugh. No. But now I'll introduce you to the other guy from the video. He's he's a cat. Mm-hmm. He's not a dog, but I put up with him. All right, Scout, come over here. All right. So I played Hunter, and then Paul played Scout the cat. So Paul's not here, so I'll show you Scout here. Hello there. I'm Scout. I'm a cat, not a dog. Mm-hmm. And he's of course, a mouth puppet, just like that, but he's got a rod arm, and there's not a rod on this one right now, but during the video we had the other rod in there. And yeah, hold on. I gotta look good for the camera. There we go. That's better. Hi, Cameron. Do you have a dog or a cat at home?
I do.
Oh, which one? A dog or a cat?
Cat.
Ah, I like this guy. He's a cat person. um, and Scout has something extra special. All right, watch this. Ready? Ready? Whoa! I got nine mechanism. His eyes don't totally close. They just go from half closed to whoa, open like that. So there's a little spring inside there, and I never really had this rigged very well. It's just that the string just comes out the bottom here, and when you pull the string, that pulls the mechanism, and then when you let go, it goes back shut. I'm very emotional that way. Oh, no more cat treats. Oh, so sad. We don't do mechanisms too much because they often break. People want mechanisms, but I always say it's the first thing that's going to break, and then then you won't be happy. So I use them sparingly when I make puppets. But a mouth puppet, that's hard to break. Yeah. What's your cat's name, Cameron?
Spooky.
Spooky. I think I know Spooky. Yeah, we're on the Facebook group for cats. Mm-hmm. All the cats are on that Facebook group. Lots of cats. No dogs. Once there was a dog who tried to get on. We said, no, no dogs on our Facebook group. Anyway, he's got a tail. Sometimes we'd put a rod in the tail so it could you could see it moving on camera. But yeah, Hunter and Scout, they're some of my favorite puppets and favorite projects that we did. I don't, if you Google Hunter and Scout's Poison Patrol, you can see you can find a page that has part of the video on it, and you can see what the video was all about. Um, but normally they would just send the video to schools, and the schools would use it in the classroom, so kids could learn about what poison was. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I gotta go use the litter box. Excuse me. So that's Hunter and Scout. So it looks like you've got some great looking mouth puppets back there too, Cameron. What's that? What's that? What's that guy with the kind of reddish orange with kind of the looks like kind of feathery hair? What is that? What kind of puppet is that?
Reddy. Ready.
Red. Oh, nice. That's a cool name. Yeah. So that's Hunter and Scout. We are making a new. I'm working on a new puppet show, a live puppet show, and we actually got a grant from the Jim Henson Foundation to build this show, and it'll debut in September, and it's called T-Rex Took My Toothbrush, and it's about a paleontologist who discovers a dinosaur egg, and he takes it home, and a baby T-Rex hatches out of it. And so suddenly he has to learn how to be a parent to a baby T-Rex. And the baby T-Rex grows bigger and bigger, of course. And so it's kind of a show about how a parent learns to deal with a child that keeps growing bigger. Let me show you a couple of the prototypes. These aren't the finished puppets. Usually when we are making a new show, we'll make what we call mock-ups or prototypes, very quick versions of the puppet out of just any material we have around that then we'll learn what the puppet can do, and then we'll learn from that, and then we'll make the final puppets. So this will be the baby T-Rex. We just made it out of some gray fleece. He'll be actually green, and just some foam and some pink styrofoam I carved really quick for the head and some styrofoam balls. So this will be the baby T-Rex. This is a tabletop puppet show. So you'll see me as the puppeteer behind the puppets as I operate them. And so he's got a little rod in the back of the neck there. And then his head is actually attached to a bungee cord you can see there, because I want the puppet to be able to sit alone while I'm doing other things with my hands. And I didn't want the head to flop over. So that bungee cord allowed it to stay steady on the neck. It allows me to, turn it and kind of leave it there, but then I can move it around and it always comes back to where I want it to go. That's the baby T-Rex. Here's then we'll have like the preschool age T-Rex. And this one looks a little more finished. It's still a mock-up, but we needed one for a photo. So I finished it a little bit more. You can see he grows a little bit bigger, but whenever the dinosaur grows bigger, I swap it out for the next bigger one. So this will be the toddler or preschool T-Rex. This one's operated a little different. It's kind of like a glove puppet, with a glove puppet where you put your fingers inside like that. It's kind of like that. I've got actually just these two fingers like that, and then the rod is on a head, or the head is on a rod. You can see there's the rod that the head's attached to. And so what I'm doing is holding the rod right here, and then I've got my fingers in his little hands there. But I'm able to kind of by turning my fingers like that, I can still turn the rod on the head. So I can make him look around, but I still have those hands that can pick up things, um, move around a little bit. And I can also just take my hands out of the fingers and just really make the rod move like that. So that's the next size. And then when the T-Rex is ready to go to kindergarten, I'll switch it to a bigger puppet. This is the mock-up. It's the same cheap material. So you can see how he gets bigger. Um, so this version is kind of going to be the same. It's got more of a sturdy foam body. I still put my fingers in. I guess I can actually do this time do well, two fingers. One finger is still good. I can still do that. And then same thing, I've got the rod between the other fingers. And so yeah, so this will be the kindergarten age T-Rex. And then there'll be an even bigger one for when he's in like first or second grade. I haven't made a mock-up for that one yet, but it'll be bigger. Um, so that's the T-Rex from T-Rex Took My Toothbrush. That's the mock-ups. Now the paleontologist, his name is Mr. Green, and this is a mock-up I did for the photos. I took his arms off and put them on another mock-up. I'll show that to you. But this is kind of what the head will look like, except it'll be paper mache. So this is a tabletop puppet. And let me show you the paper mache mock-up here. Obviously, it'll be painted to look like the other one. There, it's got arms. I was trying, got a rod to the head, and then I'll be able to put my fingers in the upper part of his upper arms and my thumb to move the arms a little bit like that. Or when I have a free hand, I'll reach over and um, be able to gesture with it. I also wanted him to be able to put his hands on his face. So I put magnets in the hands and inside the face so that, like, when he's surprised at something the T-Rex is doing, he can have his hands on his face. Or I also put one here. So, whoops, his arms are a little stiff. But anyway, so that's our new show that will debut in September. I could show, would you like to see what everyone else is working on in our studio?
Yes.
Yes, so I will show you what we're working on. The big project we're working on right now is we're building puppets for Finding Nemo. There's a Finding Nemo musical that theaters around the country are doing, and the Rose Theater in Omaha, Nebraska, is doing Finding Nemo this summer, and we built all of the characters as puppets. We've sent most of the characters, we've finished most of them. They're already up there, but we've got a few here, and we're still finishing. They'll be finished this week. And let's see. I will unplug that light so I can unplug my computer here and take you around. I think I've got enough battery to do this. So our this is our shop here at What If Puppets. Um, um, I'm going to spin you around here so you can see our shop, our workshop. It's it's 2 stories tall, though we only are in the bottom part of it because there's only one level. But let's see. This is Aaron right here. Aaron is painting black stripes on Nemo and Marlin's body, and you can see behind her. Is that Marlin? There's Marlin's head right there. Uh, let's see. We'll get a closer look there. There's the starfish character. I never remember her name.
Peach.
Peach. Yes, you know. Uh, there's and then this is what's the octopus's name? Pearl. This is the dad of Ted. He still needs his pupils. And then here's Jamie. Jamie's working on Pearl, working on her eyes there. You can see her little tentacles. Over here is Matt Hopkins. Matt is working on Bloat, the pufferfish. He obviously, still needs another eyelid. And Matt's been working on how to make him pop out to look like a pufferfish there. Let's see. Over here. Oh, we have a real dog here. There's Josie. Josie is Jamie's dog, and she's our shop dog. She comes a few days a week and supervises everybody. There's Josie. Over here, what's this guy's name, Gurgle? Um, there's Gurgle. There's a mouth puppet. Still waiting for his fins and to get his eyelids covered there. Here's the front half of Nemo. Let me see if I can get down here. Lighting is weird in here. So there's Nemo. Hi there. Have you seen my dad? So he's got a mouth mechanism right there. He's also got eyelids, kind of like the cat. Instead of opening, they close just part way by pulling. These will be on a right now. It's just pulling strings, but they'll be on a lever um, when we get that finished. And a lot of the work on Nemo and Marlin was done by Cooper. Here's Cooper. Cooper's our 17-year-old, 17? Yeah, 17-year-old puppet building apprentice. And he's been working with us since he was 14. And he's working on eyeballs, pupils for Nemo and, well, for everybody, actually. So there's Cooper. Let's see what else to show you. There's our, we've got, we use lots of different equipment. There's our shops, tools, sander, screws, and all sorts of stuff. We've got, yeah, all sorts of different materials. And of course, we use lots of fabric and fleece. Here's some fur and different types of fleece there. We've got fabric in bins right there. Um, Here's our sewing area. We have our interns from the Kansas City Art Institute. We'll get you both in the picture there. They're working hard. Um, yeah. So this is where we make all of our puppets. Any questions on our shop, about our shop? What we got going on here?
Well, I remember seeing Finding Nemo on PC when I was little.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, it's a fun movie, and it's a and I've seen the stage version of it before, and it's a fun stage show too. Um, oh, here's some more. This is for the starfish. Some more of her little kind of suction cup type things that are being made. Yeah. So that's kind of the tour of our shop. This this shelf over here has more bins with some touring shows and assorted puppets and props and all sorts of things. We're always looking for cool things to make puppets out of or props. Um, yeah, so that's our shop. Oh, I'll show you this too. When we're making puppets like for Finding Nemo, we'll print out pictures from the movie, um, But then we'll often do sketches, kind of like thinking out loud about how we might make the puppets, how we might operate them. Um, and then we'll often do full size sketches. We'll blow up big pictures, big drawings to kind of give us an idea of how big the puppets might actually be. And so there's Blow to Nemo and Marlin right there. Lots of steps involved with making puppets. Going back to my corner here, Mike Mike Horner's corner at What If Puppets. Plug in my laptop. Yeah, so that's a tour of What If Puppets. We also have an office where our artistic director works and our operations manager and our education team. We have an education team that goes into schools and works in classrooms using puppets to help teach things that schools need.
Nice. Was Finding Nemo going to be a debut?
Um, well, it'll be a debut for some of these puppets, but lots of theaters have done Finding Nemo with puppets. Not our puppets. Other puppet builders have built puppets for other theaters. In fact, the Coterie Theater in Kansas City did Finding Nemo this past Christmas, and we made a few puppets for them. Um, but the rest of the characters were actors. Whereas for the one in Omaha that we're finishing the puppets for, it's going to be all the characters will be puppets, and and it'll be a debut for Omaha, but not the debut for the show in general, but a debut for our puppets for sure.
Will I interview Brian Linus?
What? Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
I just did an interview with a animator with Brian Linus.
Oh, did he animate on Finding Nemo?
Fargoberry Farm.
Ah, gotcha. I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that show.
Nice. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Cameron.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
If any of your viewers want to find out more about What If Puppets, they can go to our website, whatifpuppets.org. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and you can see behind the scenes stuff and also find out where we will be performing. We, always like to post where we're doing our live or public shows. So yeah, check out what we're up to, and yeah,
Nice. Stay tuned, there will be more guests coming up. Until next time, peace.